What's up, everybody? It's Old Man Winter 8 for Sun and Ski Sports, and this is the 32 Lashed Double BOA from the ground up. So the Lashed Double BOA is essentially a double BOA version of one of the best-selling boots in the history of snowboarding. Starting on the bottom, we have their performance rubber outsole, where you can see this yellow is actually the rubber in the toe and the heel, basically giving you the grip exactly where you need it and also giving you the durability in those high wear areas. And then when we go to the midsole, we're talking about an STI Evolution foam midsole, and that's this material all the way around the boot and even peeking out a little bit in between. It's a higher density foam, but underneath your foot, it's incredibly soft. So we basically get the durability on the outsole, but we are lightening up the boot like crazy and also getting that comfy, cushy feel underneath your entire foot. And then when we go on top of the midsole, but directly underneath your foot, we have their Team insole. So a little bit more foam underneath your foot for a little bit more cushioning, but then the key to this one is it actually has the stiffer material that wraps from your arch all the way around your heel, and it really cups your heel and kind of cradles it. So not only are you getting more support in the back, but it's also filling in any empty area that could be there. You're not getting foot fatigue from riding and standing on your feet all day long. And then from there, as we move to the upper part of the boot, we're looking at a lot of premium synthetics. We look at the toe, we have that protective overlay, which is basically like a rubber that's painted onto the toe. So it's adding a layer of protection in that high wear area. And then when we move around to the back of the boot, we have the performance backstay, which is giving you the extra support. It's also helping to increase the longevity of the boot. And we have this little bit harder material on the heel, which again, just increasing that durability in that high wear area. But since it is cradled around the heel, it is adding a little bit more support. And then as we move up the boot a little bit, we're going to look at the independent eye stay, which is a key feature on the Lashed boots. This is something they've always had on their boot, even before they did a BOA version. And it's basically where this panel on the side is not attached to the boot up here. It's attached down a little bit lower and allows them to leave it separately. So when you are tightening this down, whether it's with the BOA or with the laces, this panel can stretch around your foot and lash you into the boot, hence the name of the boot, the Lashed. And as we move up a little bit from there, we have an articulated cuff where the upper part of the boot is a little bit separate from the bottom part of the boot. This is so when you lean forward on it and it's flexing, it can flex around the lower section, so you're not getting any gapping and getting a true comfortable fit no matter how hard you lean forward on this thing. And then when we look at the tongue, we're looking at a 3D molded tongue, where basically the tongue is shaped in this position around your foot before you even put your foot in there. So it's relieving a lot of pressure from your bindings, but also giving you a much better fit right out of the box. And then the lower part of the tongue here, new for this year, you'll notice this snow guard cover on the lower part of the boot. This is basically covering up the tongue. It's helping to prevent snow from getting inside of the boot, and it's also adding just another layer of comfort and warmth over the top of your toes. And then when we move to the back of the boot, you'll notice this calf relief piece. It's basically a softer piece with the elastic, and you'll notice that the stiffer part of the boot is cut out and cut down a little bit lower. And this is there for two reasons. It's giving you a much more comfortable fit if you happen to have bigger calves, but more importantly, no matter what size your legs are, when you're leaning back on this thing, you're not getting a hard part of the boot that's digging into the back of your leg. And then from there, when we go to the liner, we are looking at their Team Fit liner, which has a ton of rad features on it. You notice there is no lacing on the outside of this thing. That actually is built inside of the boot. The internal lacing has a harness that goes around the outside of your liner. So when you lace this thing up, it's basically like having an ankle brace built around your boot. It's helping to really tighten down and give you not only that good fit, but also give you that extra support around your ankles. And then when we look at the features on the outside of this liner, we have the heel hold system that wraps around the back, giving you extra support, but also giving you these little pockets where you can take donuts and stick them in there, and they go right around that bone on your ankle. You can kind of customize it to give yourself an even better fit around the ankles and give you that nice little pinch around the lower part of your foot. And then you'll also notice that we have this nice big Velcro around the top, 2 tabs of Velcro. So when you do get into this thing, you can crank this down and make sure that you've got a nice snug fit around your shins, no matter how big or small your calves are. And then last up from the liner, we move to the lacing on this thing. It does have a dual BOA. So we've got that M2 BOA that does the lower part. When you crank this down, this is what goes through those independent eye stays and really helps crank and lash your foot into the boot. And then we've got that M4 BOA coiler on the tongue of the boot doing the upper part of the boot. So this way you get a little bit of customization between the lower part and the upper part of the boot. And that M4 coiler is pretty pretty cool. Not only does it suck the laces back in automatically, so when you do loosen this thing up, you're not having to crank all those laces in, but it does have a feature on it where if you, let's say, step on a step and slip and hit that BOA, it is designed to break loose from the tongue of the boot, and then you can actually just grab it and snap it back in, so you're not gonna miss out on a day of riding. So this really is one of the most iconic boots in the history of snowboarding. It's one of the best-selling boots in the history of snowboarding, and whether you get the lace or the BOA version, you're not gonna regret it. But if you got any questions beyond anything we talked about in this video, definitely leave some comments down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to the Sun and Ski YouTube channel. Make sure to head out into your local Sun and Ski so you can check out the 32 Lashed Double BOA for yourself. But if you don't have one nearby, you can always check them out at sunandski.com.